Okay, places everybody quiet on the set. Lights, camera, action. Good morning. I call the meeting of the National Board of Assessors to order at 9 a.m. on Thursday, June 30th, 2022. Let the record show that present from the board are Robert Early, Paul Bergeron, and myself, Daniel Hansberry. The first order of business of the meeting minutes from the prior meeting. Is there a motion to waive the reading of the minutes from the public meeting of the Board of Assessors held on Thursday, June 2nd, 2022, accept them and place them on file?
So moved.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Are there any errors or corrections? Seeing none, all those in favor of accepting the minutes as presented signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed say nay. Ayes have it. Motion carries. Is there a motion to waive the reading of the non-public meeting minutes from the board meeting of June 2nd, 2022, accept them and place them on file?
So moved.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Are there any errors or corrections? Seeing none, all those in favor of accepting the minutes as presented signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed say nay. Ayes have it. Motion carries. At this time, I will recognize Kimberly Kleiner, who is the Director of Administrative Services for Department Update. Good morning, Director Kleiner.
Good morning, Chair, members of the board. So first, today is a little bittersweet. We'd like to congratulate and celebrate the very successful career of Doug Dame, our Commercial Assessor 3. Doug is retiring from the city. He started in April 3rd, 2003. He's had many contributions to the assessing department. We're sad to see him go, but we wish him the very best in his future endeavors. So that's first and foremost today. Second of all, and I'd like to allow Doug just a few moments to address the board, but I'll finish my remarks. The board received an email that I issued to both the Board of Assessors and the Board of Aldermen on June 14th regarding the executed amendment of the revaluation contract with Vision. That has been communicated to the DTLA. It did have the approval of the Department of Revenue. It has been updated on our website and communicated in all the possible places that we could think of. So we believe that the public should be aware if they've been following the project at all. The assessing department right now continues to work with Vision and supply them.
Public is not hearing this.
Have you heard, Ms. Colquhoun, have you heard any of the remarks?
Laura Cahoon. Sorry, Kim Klein, the mic may not be working or whatever, but it's not coming through on Zoom.
Testing.
Oh, that's better, thank you.
My apologies.
So I hate to start again, but I want to make sure that everybody heard that we're celebrating the career of Doug Dame, who's retiring from the city today, and that the city wishes to thank him for his many years of contributions and wish him well in his future endeavors, and we'll allow Doug to speak in a moment. On June 14th, we issued an email to the Board of Assessors and the Board of Aldermen with a copy of the executed amendment to the revaluation contract. This just changes the completion date from September 1 to October 1. That information has also been updated on our website and communicated to the Board of Tax and Land Appeals. The assessing department continues to work with Vision Government Solutions on the revaluation, also working with Esri Consultants on the ArcGIS hub and the equity property value solution that will accompany the revaluation. We are also assisting Vision with the scheduling of the informal hearings. Vision will actually be the one that will be speaking with the residents and taking the phone calls and scheduling. We are merely working on the IT portion of it, making sure that they have all the necessary resources. These informal hearings will be held at the National Public Library. So back in 2018, they were held in the schools. Of course, during this time, our schools will not be open. It'll be summer session, and then they'll be gearing up for the start of schools. So we thought that wasn't the best place. The National Public Library has that beautiful space downstairs, and they have assured us that they will reserve rooms and have them available. So we're working on the logistics of that to make sure that Vision has everything that they will need. We are looking to have an update to the board at your next meeting, unless the board feels that differently. And at this time, I'd like to allow Mr. Dame to make a few comments.
Well, good morning, members of the board, and I thank you for this opportunity just to make a brief comment. I find it hard to believe that after, it's been 45 years since I started a career in real estate valuation as an appraiser. Time has come for me to decide to retire specifically from the assessing duties as of the end of today. I'd like to take this moment to express my gratitude to the city for hiring me 19 years ago. Over the years, it's been a special opportunity for me personally to serve the city that I am a native and currently call home. I look forward to pursuing some long-term activities and hobbies and perhaps travel in my free time during retirement. So essentially, I'll be around, of course, in the city, but I do appreciate the opportunity to have performed this task. So thank you very much.
And thank you very much for your years of service, Mr. Damon. I wish you a long, healthy, happy, and successful retirement.
Thank you, Chair.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
And as do I. I very much appreciate the thorough work you did, and you were always prepared coming before the board during the short time I've been here, and you'll be missed. But I think you're entitled to a good retirement, and I wish you well. It's
Thank you, Paul.
a great new adventure.
Thank you, Bob.
Thank you.
Okay, moving on to new business, I would recognize Ms. Marchant, who has some abatements to present to us.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I have two abatements to present for you today. The first one on my list is 8 Milford Street. During the revaluation exterior inspection process, an in-ground pool was inadvertently added to 8 Milford Street's property record card. It's actually the neighbor's pool and has been on their property record card since the pool has been there. So the owner notified us immediately following the December tax bill of 2021. We were able to research this and confirm it's valid, and we made the data correction for 2022, so we're all set moving forward. But we recommend approval of the abatement for the taxes paid in 2021 on this pool that doesn't belong to that property.
Any questions from Ms. Marchant?
No.
Is there a motion to approve the abatement for the property located at 8 Milford Street?
So moved.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed say nay. Ayes have it, motion carries. Ms. Marchant?
The second one I have for you is 26 Almont Street. It is a very similar situation. The same instance occurred this time with a fireplace. During exterior inspection, the fireplace was added to the property card, but the owner, through their application, has provided information showing they do not have a fireplace. The chimney, in fact, vents their boiler. So we recommend approval of the abatement of the taxes paid on the fireplace that was inadvertently added in 2021.
Questions for Ms. Marchand?
I don't have any.
Hey, is there a motion to approve the abatement for the property located at 26 Almont Street?
So moved.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Ayes have it, motion carries. Does that conclude your report?
It does, thank you.
Thank you. Unfinished business, there is none. We have reached the point in the meeting for public comment. Are there any members of the public out in cyberspace who would care to comment?
Lori Ortolano?
And could you state your address for the record, please?
Sure. For some reason, Laura Calhoun just popped up, so I thought she was going to speak. And she's still on the screen, so I've lost sight of you folks, but that's okay. Yes, Lori Ortolano, 41 Oakwood Street. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you. I sent an email out to you folks last night with some questions that I was hoping to have answered if Vision comes and does another update. And I wanted to know what the entry rate was in the end for commercial and residential property, and whether the entry rate changed after 2021 when things opened up for government and businesses after the COVID issue. Laura, can you mute yourself? Can you mute yourself, Laura? Thank you. I'm getting a ton of feedback. Okay, so I wanted to also know how many income statements they received back, and if they sent those out to all commercial, industrial, rental properties to collect income data. What was the percentage of returns on those? Because I had talked to national reps about working legislation on that issue, and I'd like to get the data to understand what exists. The measure list was spoken about in the 2019 Board of Alderman meeting in August, and there were a lot of questions raised, or a lot of points raised by the mayor during that discussion. And he was unsure that there was anything wrong with the data. He knew it had been, 27 or 28 years since the last update, and that it seemed like it was time, but he really didn't believe that there was necessarily anything that needed to be corrected. And I think at this point, now that we finished a 4-year process, it's important that we look at what we found or didn't find, because at that meeting in August of 2019, my husband and I spoke against the measure list, primarily because we wanted to see the office stabilized, and we believe the problems and consistency of data was happening because of deficiencies in the office. And since that time, the office has, I would say, deteriorated more. So we don't have the stability in the office, which I think compromises the data. But we went through $1 million project, which was very expensive for the taxpayers, and I think we should be able to sit back now and come to some conclusions on whether it was a reasonable thing to do or an unreasonable thing to do. And I'm all for pushing on the state, the DRA in particular, to abolish these measures and lists if they really don't yield any results, because either one, you don't have entry, or there's largely nothing found because there isn't entry. A big issue for me is the depreciation of, the decoupling of depreciation from effective year build and coupling it to condition. There was a lot of talk about that, and in 4 years, there hasn't been a single update on what has happened with that. And I would like to try and get data on what that showed, because the mayor has spoken about the shift to residential properties on the tax burden because of the differences in value increases on those two types of properties, with residential growing at a more rapid rate than commercial, substantially more rapid. And that's going to shift the tax burden to the residential properties, and I understand that. But he has not addressed the depreciation issue on older homes, and I believe Nashua has a significant group of number of properties that are certainly 1960 or earlier. And I think we have a responsibility to understand if there was a problem there. I will certainly do the data dive, but I would like to think that Vision has the capability of reporting to us on what they found, what impact is on some of these homes when depreciation is reset to condition, and what the shift is on properties for that. I was also, I think I emailed you, I was completely disgusted by the comments in the budget hearing by the mayor that he would never have done a measure list this year now, if it hadn't been for the state forcing us. You know, I hate political football games, and I see this mayor running for office again, announcing his candidacy, fundraising for 2023. And now that the economy has been taking a skid, inflation's running high, costs are pressuring all citizens, he's suddenly not on board with this anymore, and he never wanted to do it. And yet, I think I sent you the link to the 2019 minutes and meeting where Attorney Bolton, speaking for the mayor, stated that the city's intentions were always to do a measure and list for 2022. Suddenly now it's not right. We could only have gone until 2023. And I was always under the impression that the state, the DRA and BTLA, granted the 2022 date because it was the request of the city. They did not issue an order, in August. The order didn't come out until, I believe, October. So, I always thought the state worked, cooperatively with the city to pick that date and grant 4 years of time to rework the revaluation. And I thought it was very reasonable. I see this mayor lining up to blame the state, blame the citizen, and walk away trying to be squeaky clean that he had nothing to do with this. And that is just such poor leadership. This man has no business serving as our mayor. And quite frankly, I find him a bull-faced liar, and I'm tired of it. So,
This is what a lot of your
I
time
hope
is
you're
on.
able to get me some answers. Dan, when you talk, you've got to go into the microphone because you cannot be heard with your mask on.
Wait,
It is
Mrs.
brutal.
Sotolano, your time is up.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Is there anybody else wishing to address the board?
Laura Cahoon.
If you could state your address for the record, please.
Laura Cahoon, 30 Greenwood Drive. I would just like to say I'm very sorry to hear that Doug Dame is leaving the assessing. I've been dealing with the assessing department since 2018. He is the most professional and he's the most knowledgeable. I am now very upset because I don't feel that we have the knowledge in that department, and maybe we should start looking in getting an outside firm doing our assessing. Thank you.
Is there anybody else who wishes to address the board? All right, seeing none. Excuse me, we've reached the point in the meeting for comments by board members. Are there comments by board members?
No, I don't have any.
Okay. Is there a motion to go into non-public session for two reasons? First, to discuss matters which, if discussed in public, would likely affect adversely the reputation of any person other than a member of this board unless such person requests an open meeting. This exemption shall extend to include any application for assistance or tax abatement of waiver of a fine, fee, or other levy if based on inability to pay or poverty of the applicant pursuant to RSA 91-A:3, Roman numeral 2, parenthetical C, second, under 91-A:3, Roman numeral 2, parenthetical L, for the consideration of legal advice provided by legal counsel, either in writing or orally, to one or more members of the public body, even where legal counsel is not present.
So moved.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
I will call the roll. Mr. Early?
Yes.
Mr. Bergeron?
Yes.
Mr. Hansberry, yes. Let the record show that we have entered non-public session at 9:19 a.m. And there's going to be a